All right, I'm back for part 2. We're gonna talk about Ugly Love, obviously also by Colleen Hoover. So, okay, like I said, out of both of the books out of these 2 books, I've the one that got me the most upset and in tears was this one. Because, okay, so let me explain a little bit about the book before I start ranting about it. Basically, I'm just gonna give big points. I'm not gonna go into detail because then this video's gonna be too long, and then also because don't want to spoil anything. But this one's basically about, and okay, so these have connections because I texted my co the other day, Maddie, shout out. These 2 have connections because, okay, so in the book, when something emergency happened at Ben's family's, they all came to Ben's house, all his friends. He has 2 friends named Miles and Tate, and they show up at Ben's house and is there for him when that family emergency or something happened, right? In this book, it's all about Miles and Tate, which I made that connection because I looked at the back of the book and I was like, Tate and Miles. I was like, why does that name sound familiar? I scroll back in this book and it's them. So this is their love story, his friend's love story. So basically this one, okay, so this one's basically about, Tate, she moves to San Francisco. She moves in with her brother because she got a job offer to work in, because she's a nurse. She works in one of the hospitals over there. She used to live in San Diego, which is crazy to me because I was like, oh, connections. I don't know. But yeah, she still lives in San Diego. She moves to San Francisco, moves in with her brother. Her brother's always gone half the time because her brother's a pilot. So he could be gone for a whole week and then comes back. So she gets to her apartment. She's trying to move her stuff in. There's this drunk guy in front of her door. She obviously she doesn't know what to do because I wouldn't know what to do. I would start freaking out. I would go downstairs and I'd be like, hey, can someone help me? Because there's literally this drunk guy leaning against the door, she couldn't go inside. And then she tries to go in, unlock the door while him being right there because she thought he was asleep. He grabs on her ankle and he's like, no. He's like, I need to get inside there. And she was like, who the hell? She's like, who is this? So she gets inside, but she leaves all her stuff outside. And then she calls her brother and she's like, who is this? What's going on? And then the brother ends up telling her that oh, let me call my neighbor, my friend named Miles, next door. He'll come help you. Turns out it's Miles the one that's drunk. So then her brother calls her back. Her brother's name's Corbin. So Corbin's like, can you help him inside? And she's like, what the heck? You want a drunk man inside my apartment? She's like, okay. So she helps him inside. Miles ends up having a breakdown. She ends up staying with him until he falls asleep. Then the next morning, he starts getting mad at her and he's like, what happened to my hand and blah blah blah. And she's like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, my hand, because whenever she closed the door on him and he was grabbing her ankle, she slammed the door on his hand, so it left a giant bruise on his hand. So he was going off on her and she was like, well, where's the thank you, because I was the one that helped you move in, come inside. And so then the brother comes back, he says hi to her, hi to Miles. That's where their first interaction, and then she ends up turning to Miles because he was giving her so much attitude and stuff. She was like, well, you can help my brother come get the rest of my stuff inside. And in my head I was like, yeah, he needs to help because you helped him get inside after being drunk. And then he was yelling at her for no reason, she literally did nothing to him. So they go and get the rest of her stuff. And then let's see, next major part, she goes to Thanksgiving. Okay. Thanksgiving. This is the main scene. Next part. Thanksgiving. Miles doesn't have anyone to go with, so he tags along. Corbin invites him to come to Thanksgiving with obviously him and Tate. So all 3 of them going to, I don't remember. I think it is LA where their parents are from. I don't remember. But yeah, so they all go to Tate's and Corbin's mom's house for Thanksgiving. And it was awkward, because Tate's starting to have feelings for Miles. And Miles is okay, how they make him sound in the book is they make him sound like he's dead. Dead inside. He doesn't show any emotions. Whenever he talks, he just has a straight, I can't do it obviously. But he doesn't smile. He just has a straight dead face. He very dry when he talks, I think. That's how I make it sound. So basically they go to the mom's house of Corbin and Tate, and him and Corbin's job are to put the Christmas lights up while Tate helps her mom cook in the kitchen. And what ends up happening is that Miles cuts his hand, his hand, because he was helping Corbin put the lights up and hold the ladder, and like it almost fell and like cut his hand, and he was like, oh my god, like he runs inside. Miles runs inside and he's like, I need Tate, like help me, like my hand's bleeding. And then she tells him like, dude, I can't do this. She's like, you need staples. And he's like, no, you do it. And she's like, okay. So they go to the bathroom, and then she ends up like, you know, cleaning his hand, like doing whatever. And this is the first time that they like, you know, in the book it tells you that they have feelings for each other, kind of in a sense, because like yeah. And I don't want to spoil anything. So then later on, you know, that night, she goes to bed, Miles goes to bed. Miles gets out of his room and like is peeking through, which is, okay, to me this is really creepy. But he creeps to the little crack through the door where she's sleeping, and like you can tell he's watching her. She knows. And so he goes to the kitchen, and then she pretends like she literally says in the book, oh, I'm gonna pretend like I didn't see him. I'm like, girl, we all know you're going downstairs because you want to see him. So she ends up going downstairs, following him downstairs, and she's like, oh, like what a coincidence to see you here. And I was like, girl, it's like we know. So then they end up talking for a while. He ends up kissing her, and he basically ends up telling her he just wants to be with her, just to sleep with her. That's all he wants, right? He doesn't want a relationship. He doesn't want to fall in love. He doesn't want any of that. He just wants her to be okay with just sleeping together. That's it. And so at first, like, you know, Tate was fine with it. She was like, whatever, like, you know. Then kind of after a while, she like actually starts to like have feelings for him, because on their way back, like, I don't know, like he starts like, well, obviously the brother's asleep, so the brother doesn't know about this, because the brother, like how they make the brother sound in the book is really sweet. Like the brother like cares about her and like who she's like talking to and stuff. He's very protective over her. So like he always warns his friends like not to get near his sister, like don't have a relationship with his sister and stuff. But Miles over here, but anyways, yeah, so on their car ride back, like, you know, he starts rubbing her ankles and like he's like telling her things, and I'm like, yeah. So in my head I was like, girl, like this is not gonna end well. Like I already know it from my, like, it's not gonna end well. So trying to think of the next major part. They get into an argument because like she starts telling him how like he gives her false hope. Because okay, so Miles' two rules of their on and off like getting together type thing is, don't ask about my past. Oh my god. Don't ask about my past, and don't expect a future. Which I'm like, girl, he's basically telling you he's just gonna sleep with you, but he doesn't want anything to do with you. He's not gonna fall, like nothing. And then in her head, like Tate's head, like, no, I can change him. Like, you know, he's maybe going through something. Cause like we find out later in the book that he only like he hasn't dated anyone in 6 years. He hasn't kissed anyone in 6 years. So we find out that like, you know, something happened in his past relationship. And in the book also it goes back and forth from like Tate's now point of view and then Miles's past, so we know about it. He had a really traumatic backstory, I would say. Also, him and his first girl like had a child. He lost a child. I'm not gonna explain how, because I want to spoil it, but like, yeah, obviously that happened. So this is why it explains his behavior and like, you know, his false of like, I can't find anyone, fall in love. So basically, like they end up fighting. Tate ends up moving out from her brother's apartment because she gets a new place. And then he ends up like 2 weeks later, he ends up going back to his first love's place and basically wants to cope with everything. Like he hasn't moved forward. She has, but he hasn't. So she helps him move forward. He goes back, finds Tate, and he like tells her everything. Like he opens up to her. He says he loves her. Like he's sorry. He just was scared. Obviously, valid. All this is valid, but like still, like I don't know. So this is really cute because that, let's just say like the ending. Oh, it was cute. It made up for it. It made up for the tears. It made up for everything. He took her out on a plane ride, And he had 2 boxes. One box was a key, and he was like, hey, I want you to move in with me. And she's like, okay. Second one, he proposed. And I was like, and it shows like a little piece of the ending, like it shows like their wedding, oh well, like scenes of their wedding and stuff. And and it's so cute because the brother tells him, he's like, you know, I had standards for whoever dates my sister, but he's like, you're always one of them that fit the standard. And I was like, oh. I was like, no. I was like, that's so cute. But yeah, so that was that one. Okay, I recommend it to people if they ask me, but like, okay, it was good. But I'm just telling you, there was times I had to put the book down. Like, I would read it for like 30 minutes straight, and then there was times I would put the book down and be like, I can't do this anymore.